Hey everybody, this is Neil Allen, the comic creator behind the series That's Why Multiversal Guardian. And I know some people have been wondering why I haven't made any Sean James videos recently. So I thought I would take some time to explain that. The main reason is just because I haven't really felt like it. You know, I have other things to do that have of course take precedence over that I've been busy with. But also, I've pretty much said what I've felt like saying on that topic, so I haven't made any other videos about it thus far. That's not to say that I won't have something to say in the future, because with a person like that, it's kind of not worth using their comment section too much. So if I do have something to say on something I hear, I'll just make a video about it. There are other reasons as well. One is that he's obviously been had a lot of internal struggles about whether to continue on YouTube or not, because it's affecting his mental and even physical health. He's talked about having chest pains and serious anxiety attacks, and it's pretty easy to see that this is a person that's like on the brink of having some sort of breakdown. And there are a couple things along with that, so keep that in mind. This seems to be someone on the brink of having a breakdown. By the way, I'm killing some time at the park right now, so if you hear noises that you may hear at a park, well, that explains it. But also, it seems to me, just from my own observation and knowledge about various things, and I'm not claiming to be like a psychologist or psychiatrist or someone who's going to diagnose a person, but it seems to me that Sean James strikes me as an autistic individual for various reasons, someone who's on the spectrum. And think about this: how would it look if I was continually going at an autistic person on the brink of having a breakdown, and then say, perhaps, I'm not saying he would do this, but it's still worth taking into consideration, he ends up doing something to himself or something like that. I've recommended to Sean before that he should if YouTube is having this much of an effect on him, then he should leave the platform and focus on getting therapy and bettering himself, instead of spewing a bunch of fire and stuff at people on the internet, because the internet can be a pretty cruel place. But I've also found that for the most part, what you get is what you put in. So if you're going to go out there being this controversial figure, saying all this stuff, thinking you can just do it with complete impunity, well, there are a couple things. You're going to be in for a surprise, and no, you can't do that. I've noticed one thing that gets him really physically in distress, to the point of having chest pains and stuff, is if YouTube lays down the hammer on him. You may think you have freedom of speech and stuff like that, but not really. You're basically at the whims of YouTube if you're so choosing to use their platform, and that's just the way it goes. You cannot like that, but that's not really up to you. You're either going to play ball or not. And I think I saw a video of him recently where he's like, I got demonetized over the use of one word, and it was the name for a raccoon. That was the word. And he said there was no cursing, there were no racial slurs, there was nothing like that. Well, if I'm following him correctly, is this a word that he's applying to someone or some people that rhymes with the word boon, but starts with the letter C? Is that what he's saying he got demonetized over, the use of a word like that? Well, I'm sure he knows this. That is actually a racial slur. And you know, you only have yourself to blame for that. And that's basically how it goes with this guy. He doesn't want to take accountability for anything that he does. He doesn't want to, like, play by anybody's rules or anything like that. And, you know, like I was saying, that's not really, he's basically going to either follow their terms of service or not. And in that instance, he was actually in violation of the terms of service. So, I mean, he's essentially just that's basically how it goes consistently with a person like that. Not taking accountability, complaining all the time, and so on and so forth. Even when they're clearly in the blame, they still want to act like they're not, and somehow he thinks he can say whatever he wants. And you can do that. I've always said that. You can do that. But there are likely to be consequences, and he doesn't deal with those well. He's getting these chest pains, he's having these anxiety attacks over something pretty small. One of your videos out of how many thousands has he made? I mean, he's putting these things out every day, multiple videos a day, I think. And you're getting an anxiety attack over one of them being demonetized. Yeah, a person like that is better off not being on the platform, I would say. You should get off the platform. Like I said, seek therapy, because it's obvious this guy has a lot of issues. And if it's like he's saying, if he's having all these problems, even little things, like he's getting, the thing is, like, yeah, if you're going to say that type of stuff, you're going to get some pushback. You're going to get pushback from the people that enforce the terms of service, and you're going to get pushback just from internet users on the platform. And if you can't deal with that, then get off the platform. That's your solution. I understand he's doing this for a little bit of money. I know Sean James can't be making too much money on this. You got to ask yourself, is it really worth it? Now, I do know that a little bit of money is somewhat relative. What could be a little bit of money could be a lot of money for him, especially if that's like your only real consistent income stream. But then you just have to ask yourself if it's really worth it, if it's having that effect on you. So that's another reason why I haven't made videos about him recently. I'm aware of how annoying he is. I'm aware of how blockheaded he is. I'm aware of how intolerant he is. And, you know, yes, I do think that that can be potentially frustrating. People like that can be potentially frustrating. But that goes along with another reason. Like, I can say all that stuff, and I do think it's good to call somebody like that out in certain instances if someone feels it's worth it. And I have felt it's worth it just because Sean James spreads a lot of harmful misinformation and rhetoric. But in the end, you know, a person like that who just can't self-reflect, doesn't want to because it's going to force them to have to confront themselves, which is something they don't really want to do. That's why he spends his time criticizing everybody else, even though he's really, it's pretty easy to criticize him. He criticizes everybody else so he won't have to look at himself. He won't have to deal with himself. He, you know, can instead point and call out all kinds of things about these other people. So, you know, a person like that's not going to self-reflect. So kind of, what's the point? Well, really, the point really, you can say, like, for me, it's not really been to change Sean James's mind, because I already knew that was unlikely to happen. It's kind of like for other people to see, you know, for other people to see somebody else calling this person out, and to challenge the ideas for the sake of other people. But that is a thing to take into consideration. The dude's like blockheaded, and he's uncompromising, he's unreasonable, and you're just not going to get very far persuading somebody like that or attempting to get them to change. So those are some of the reasons why I haven't made any videos about Sean James. It really just boils down to I haven't felt it's been worth my time, though I'm not saying that I'll never do it again. I realize that, you know, this guy's putting out content at such an alarming rate. This guy's putting out content at such an alarming rate that I can't really keep up with it. I did realize you can make an entire channel about this person because he says so much stupid stuff and he's doing it multiple times a day. And I realized that, you know, I just can't keep up with that. Yes, I could keep commenting on all the dumb things he says and refuting all the stupid stuff that he says, but there's just like too much of it for me to be able to, you know, keep up with. So those are some of the reasons why I haven't made any videos about that recently. But again, not to say that I won't as time goes on. We'll see what happens in the future. But anyway, this has been Neil Allen. Check out my own comic, Zatswan, at my website, zatswan.com. And I will hopefully see all of you again very soon. Take care.